Hi, I'm Brady, and welcome to our latest Tech Tip Thursday video. And today I'd like to talk to you about some common mistakes people make when starting their own business. Too often we're focused on critical things like getting customers or paying bills, and we don't pay enough attention to the tools we're using and how much they hurt us. And so, without further ado, I collected together 4 different common mistakes, and I'm going to go over them one by one. So first off, using the wrong email platform or personal email. And the problem with this is that if you're using the wrong platform, you don't have the right level of security, and you often don't have enough functionality. A very common example is the GoDaddy approach, or not to pick on GoDaddy, but Namescheap or Bluehost, or pick your domain registrar. If you get a custom domain, you set up a website, and then they go, hey, you get some free email with your domain. Don't do it, because you have to port that into a mail application. You only get the email. You don't get things like contacts or calendars in most cases. Support on those tools on that product is pretty poor. And then lastly, just purely on a security front, your email, it's just a password. So if somebody breaks into and hacks into your email, it gets really easy for them to send emails to all the people that you've sent emails recently. A lot of phishing attacks come from other people getting breached this way. And so if you fall for a phishing attack, that lack of extra security like two-factor authentication really goes against you at that point. So it's a very common mistake that I see happen quite a lot in my line of work with clients. Second common mistake, oh, sorry, backing up. My solution for that, what I would recommend, look into either G Suite or Microsoft 365. Either of those are the 2 front runners as far as custom domain email platforms. Both of them have the ability for you to turn on two-factor authentication. Both of them give you the ability to do calendaring and to do contact management. So on all counts, I'd recommend that. And if you're curious on which one I would recommend over another one, leave a comment or contact us, and I'm happy to chat about it. It depends on the situation. Okay, so common mistake number 2, using just your cell phone, particularly if you want staff later on. Your cell phone is your phone. For a lot of people starting off their business, they start off as solopreneurs. Oftentimes they feel like they're a freelancer rather than a business owner. It's very easy to jump into just, here's my number and contact me if you have a job or you have a request or whatever the focus you would have when starting a business would be. It's so easy to just give out that phone number. You already have the cell phone with you all the time. What's the problem? The problem is that as soon as you start getting staff, it becomes incredibly difficult to start figuring out how to have other people manage phone calls if you don't want to continue doing that exclusively anymore when it's your cell phone. And so what I usually recommend is that if you're going to start a business, it's not that much to do $20, $30 a month, get a base extra phone number that you can have in 8x8 or Grasshopper, RingCentral, Comcast Business Edge. There's a ton of options out there for phone systems with phone numbers. Get a different phone number from your cell phone, and that way you don't have to worry about what happens down the road when you're getting staff and you suddenly realize that all of this printed material, all this published material that points to this phone number now all has to get changed if you end up changing your cell phone, or if you reach that point where you want a business number and now you have to create a new number. So it's so much less painful to start that process at the beginning rather than at the end. So don't use your cell phone if you're going to start off with a business. You can always forward a business phone number to your cell phone until you're ready to have somebody else start managing that. So common mistake number 3, not setting up a website or using something like Wix or Squarespace to set up your website. Now, we do IT consulting, we do IT managed services. We don't really work on websites, but it is still to this day one of the top issues that I see with clients is that your website either doesn't exist or, quite honestly, it looks really tacky when it's not even your own domain. Particularly in situations where people have already gone through the effort of having a domain name and a custom email, and then they go off and they have something like Wix where they have your company name.wix.com. So if you're going to do a website, do it right. Set it up through something like WordPress. Have a web designer that you can talk to help you with this. Some people try to code their own websites. Trust me, I've done it myself from the beginning. And it was a night and day difference for me to actually use a web designer versus trying to use my own coding knowledge to build my own website. It's not in my wheelhouse. My website looked like crap, especially once it got fixed. My traffic, my reputation, all of that really went way up. So even if you don't rely on e-commerce for a website, people still go and check you out there. It's still a really helpful thing for you to make sure that you have that box checked. So set up a website, make sure you set it up correctly with the proper custom domain, and ideally through an actual web designer. We have a couple of partners that we can connect you to if that is something that you're interested in, that referral. And fourth and final top mistake that I see, particularly in my line of work, buying cheap computers. And there's nothing wrong with an inexpensive computer, but the problem is that people will very often not understand enough of the hardware components to make an educated decision on what parts they want to have beefed up and which ones they don't care about. And there is the most critical problem that I see happening has to do with the hard drive, because there are two things to keep in mind for a hard drive. There's certainly, yes, the capacity, how much you can put on the hard drive, but there is a type of hard drive that dictates the speed at which the hard drive works. Cheap computers use a very old type of hard drive that tends to have really high capacity, which is why it always looks attractive, but it's abominably slow, to the point where buying it brand new, I used to say a couple of years ago that you could maybe get 6 months out of it before you'd start feeling like it was a slow old computer. Nowadays, I've seen increasingly that right out of the box. Sometimes it's slow. Other times, maybe it's about a month and then it's slow. It's just, it kills the computer. You're supposed to be able to have a computer around for 3 to 4 years. And when you go best case, 6 months, worst case, instantly, having a slow computer, that is going to be a very nightmarish scenario for you to go through for the lifespan of that computer, because it's already been bought. And nobody wants to admit that they're wrong, send it back, get a new one, so much hassle. And the problem with getting the wrong hard drive is that that's where the operating system sits. That's where everything actually happens and is stored on a computer. You pull that out, you have to start over from scratch if you replace that hard drive with a better hard drive. So it's really high hassle kind of situations when you get the wrong kind of computer. That's, by the way, the kind of computer you can get when you go to a Fry's or to a Costco and you find those computers on sale for $300. Those are exactly the kind of computers you want to stay away from. And it'll always look okay. It'll look like the RAM's good. It'll look like the processor's good. The hard drive is probably not going to be good. The general expectation for a proper computer is that it would always be somewhere in the ballpark of $700 to $1,000. If you're going much less than that, you're probably already sacrificing the hard drive, which is not where you want to end up. So our website has a page, by the way, called Top Tech Picks that is really helpful for people going, well, what should I buy? Now, I don't know how people feel at this point in time about Amazon, but they're all Amazon links. They work as far as having tiles set up for what I recommend for a desktop, a laptop, a monitor, a network switch, so on and so forth. So Top Tech Picks on our website, bhtechconnection.com. So go check that out. I'll put it in the description. In the meantime, that's all we have for today's video. We covered 4 common IT mistakes people make when starting their own business and suggested alternatives so that you don't make the same mistakes. Now tell me, was this helpful? I hope so. In the meantime, are you interested in any other kinds of topics? If so, leave a comment below so that we can speak to that on a future video. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more content, tech tips for Tech Tip Thursday or Tuesday Newsday. Keep updated with what's happening in the news. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Again, I'm Brady Helkin with BH Tech Connection, and I'll see you again next time.